Today I wanted to share with you my thoughts on the Brian Fay wireless unit that I've had for the last couple months. I got it back in the beginning of August, and I've been using it every single week on different gigs in different spaces, just kind of forming my own opinion on it, testing the specifications that are being advertised. And so in this video, I'm going to share the pros, the cons, and of course, we'll do a sound comparison so you can see what this sounds like compared to just an ordinary cable, so you can hopefully make the decision for yourself if you want to try this out. The first thing I should say is that we got to have realistic expectations. So what is this not? It's not the $600, $800 Shure radio frequency wireless kit that everyone's using on professional stages. It does have its limitations because it's using internet band frequencies. You can read the full specs on the link that I'll leave down below. And by the way, if you want to skip around to any of the points in this video, the timestamps are down there as well. So first off, the pros. There's a lot of wireless units available in this kind of price range, and the thing that I think sets this apart is you might notice that it kind of takes some inspiration from the product design of a certain Apple product. Let's get my camera in focus here. So this large box is actually the charging bay. It's got a big lithium battery in it. It's actually pretty heavy, and so you take the transmitter and the receiver out when you want to use it. When you're done, throw them back in there, and it'll charge in your case for the next time you need to use it. It's brainless. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about taking them out of your case and charging them when you get back home late at night from a gig and finding that you forgot to do that maybe at a gig and you don't have a wireless unit to use. So I really enjoy that part of it. Like I said, I've had this unit like 2 months now. I charged it once when I took it out of the product packaging. I charged this big box once, and it's still going. I've been using it every single week, 3+ hour gigs. It does have 4 LED lights here that light up blue or don't light up at all, and that'll show you how much battery is left in it. And after 2 months, it's about halfway. So 2 of the 4 lights are being lit. I don't know if that translates honestly to 50% of the battery life is still in there, or maybe it's on its last 10%, but either way, 2 months charge on this is pretty impressive. The individual transmitter and receiver have no problem lasting for a 3-hour gig, even if you don't turn them off in between set breaks. So not having to worry about that, that's a big plus in my book. Now, the transmitter and the receiver, they each have 5 different channels. Of course, they'd have the same number of channels. You want to make sure they're on the same one when you use it. That's good for 2 reasons. So if you are in a band and one of your band members wants to use the same wireless kit, just make sure you are on separate channels so that there's no crosstalk, right? The second reason why having multiple channels on a device like this, which is also what kind of sets this apart from some of the other wireless units in this price range and cheaper, is that the 5 channels will definitely come in handy when someday you're going to go to a venue, you're going to plug in, you're going to try channel 1, and for whatever reason, there's just interference on that channel. So having access to multiple channels is also a very good thing for that reason. Another pro, latency. The latency on this is advertised as less than a millisecond. Most humans cannot recognize latency up to about 6 milliseconds if you're really accurate. Most people, it's going to be about 12 to 15 until you can actually start noticing that something's happening here. These advertise 0.3 milliseconds, and no, I don't know if I have the technology to try and figure that out and test it. All that I can say is that adding this even to my digital rig, which already has a lot of analog to digital and back conversions, which is adding some latency, adding in this has not added anything else that I've noticed. So that is definitely a plus. The distance that these are advertised to work up to is 100 feet or 30 meters. And I've tested that. I found that to be true. The one thing I will say, and maybe you'll file it under a con, is that there cannot be anything major in between the transmitter and the receiver. There's got to be a straight line of sight, or you will experience some dropouts. I did test that out, and that's something that can be said for anything, any product that's in this price range that operates under the same principles. If it's not a radio frequency unit, don't expect it to be completely flawless and transmit through objects and such. So just keep in mind, you're going to need a clean line of sight between your guitar and the pedal board, or your guitar and the amp, or whatever instrument you're using. One thing I wanted to mention that you could file into the pro and the con category alike, depending on what your instrument type is just that this thing's kind of long, right? It's 3 inches that it's going to stick out from the end of the output jack on your instrument. On a Strat or an SG, this is great. It's not really going to be in the way. It's kind of flush here. On a Telecaster even, where it's got an inset output jack like this, that's going to work really well. On something like my PRS, So you can see on an instrument like this where the output jack is right on the edge of the body, the wireless unit is just going to stick out straight, right? Like 3 inches out. And it's not getting in the way, in my experience. It's not going to hinder my ability to play the instrument. It's just kind of there, and keep this in mind when you go to set your instrument down on a guitar stand. Is this thing going to be in the way or not? You might want to try your instrument and kind of see where the jack lies on the stand, because it could get in the way. Just a quick tip, something you should keep in mind if you're looking at other products, is that sometimes on these wireless units, at the edge of it, right, it's too wide to actually work on an output jack like this. This is a 60 spec custom shop, so pretty standard size. And some wireless units, some of the cheaper ones that are wider, they just straight up won't work. So keep that in mind, is all I'm saying. So now, finally, the sound comparison. The wireless unit, transmitter, and receiver just put up back to back with a cable. I'm going to use my Super Amp, my PRS, because it's got new strings on it, an overdrive pedal at some point just to give it a different timbre. I'm also going to do a bass sample, and that's going to be recorded direct just for full fidelity. What you should keep in mind is that this is the standard version of the wireless. So if you've got really a playback system with a sub, maybe something that's capable of producing really low frequencies, you should know that the standard version of the wireless does have an automatic roll-off at around 50 hertz. And that's just to keep the signal clean and make sure that, on a guitar, on violin, on whatever, they're not transmitting anything near 50 hertz that's useful. And so they just roll that off just to keep the signal clear in case there is interference down there. They do make a bass-specific version of this wireless kit, which is exactly the same, all the same specs I listed, just without that automatic 50 hertz roll-off. Again, both are listed in the description if you want to read a little bit more about them. As you're listening along here, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you're hearing. Is there a sizable difference between the wireless and a standard cable? What is the difference if you can hear it? And if you can hear it and pinpoint what it is, of course, is it a deal breaker for you? I'd love to know. If you have any more questions that I might have missed in this demo, I'm pretty good at getting back to people. Just leave me a comment down below. So there it is, my quick review demo, maybe not so quick, of the Brian Fay BF-1 wireless unit. Let me know what you thought if you haven't yet in the comments. And if this video was helpful for you, do me a favor, leave a like down below. It'll hopefully help recommend this video to more people that might find it useful. And if you're kind of digging what this channel is about, it's all about like affordable guitar gear, maybe some not so affordable guitar gear every now and then. I just do a lot of demos, and if you like the way this was laid out, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.